Now, welcome to this lecture, screencast for fats. Now, what is fats? Fats mainly provide us energy. So, if you remember your carbohydrates and you remember the key terms, we talk about how much kilocalories that they actually provide. So, carbohydrates provide only 4, whereas fat provide 9 kilocalories per gram. So that says a lot because if you are trying to lose weight and you're eating a lot of fatty food like cakes and candies and red meat such as a beef, mutton, okay, it's not going to be easy. Now it also helps to keep us warm. Alright, okay, the layers of fat keep us warm and it protects our organs in our bodies. It also helps to supply vitamins such as vitamin A and D because vitamin A and D are fat soluble vitamins. That means they dissolve and can be transported in fats. They also provide us some essential fatty acids, but you just need to know them. You don't need to remember them. There are 3 types of fatty fats: saturated fat, unsaturated fat, and trans fats. Now, taking a look at the type of fats, taking a look at saturated fat, it's usually made from animals and is known as bad fats because it's not easy to break down, and this can lead to obesity and heart diseases. Now we come to the next part, unsaturated fat. Alright, it's usually come from plants, so olive oil, avocado, all these are very good for our body. Okay, it's known as a good fats and can help to lower rate of heart diseases. Now the most dangerous fat actually comes as trans fat because this is usually made in the like laboratories. So this is where scientists transform unsaturated fat into trans fat by adding hydrogen, because a lot of the trans fats will actually make your food taste better and have a nicer feel to it. So that's why if people usually add a lot of trans fat if they want to make food to taste really good in factories. Now taking a look at the Singapore Dietary Guideline, one thing why there is this guideline that asks us to eat less saturated fat is because we tend to eat too much things like candies, cakes, muffin, donuts. You have to admit, just going to Jurong Point or go to any other shopping center, you get to see a lot of these shops out there. And all these have a lot of saturated and trans fat. These can lead to health problems such as stroke, diabetes, and heart diseases. And animal fats, where we eat meat, they also have cholesterol which can clog up our arteries. So let's take a look at this video on how it do so. Let's move on to essential fatty acids. Now, there are two types of essential fatty acids. Just for your information, you don't really need to remember them. But just know there's omega-3. If you ever go to those pharmacies and you see those supplements, there's omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-3 is usually known as the good one because it's usually from fish. And we don't usually eat a lot of this oily fish, such as salmon, all this. And it's actually good for our brains, eyes, and heart. On the other hand, omega-6 is known as the bad one and is found in many foods, such as grapeseed oil, walnuts, all this. But just to let you know, we need a balance of omega-3 and omega-6 to work well. We cannot eat too much of omega-3. I know some of you might be thinking, oh, omega-3 is a good one, so let's eat a lot of omega. No, we can't do that because it will not work as well as with its balance. That means the same amount between omega-3 and omega-6. They need to be balanced in order to work well together. Now, what happens if you do not have enough fats? For number one, you may not be able to absorb fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A and vitamin D. So there's just a simple picture here. You can pause the video to take a look at what does vitamin A do for you and where it comes from. So lack of important fatty acids such as omega-3 and omega-6, we will not be able to get that, and we won't be able to concentrate well. So it's not really a very good idea when everybody just say, oh, you must keep the very low fat diet, low fat diet. No, that's not true. What you need to do is to eat more unsaturated fat. Alright, it has been proven to lower heart disease if you eat a lot of unsaturated fat. Now, in the food groups, you'll notice that you can't find it anywhere. Alright, because currently fats are encouraged to be eaten as little as possible. We are encouraged to eat up to only 30 grams of fats a day, but we end up eating a lot more. Okay? Now, cooking methods is a very big issue because cooking methods such as frying, and we know frying have different types of frying, like dry frying, shallow frying, deep frying. Deep frying is definitely the worst because it absorbs a lot of oil. And if you're cooking food such as meat, okay, they have their own fat content. And imagine when you deep fry it, you absorb even more oil. So you end up with food with a lot of fats. So one has to watch out for the amount of food that we eat. So what happens if we eat in excess? Eating at excess, you can lead to obesity. So obesity means like this, severely overweight. You're not just overweight, you're severe, that is really overweight. And this can lead to health problems such as diabetes and heart diseases. Now you've taken a look at the cholesterol video just now. So it's the same thing. What happens if there's too much saturated fat and trans fat is that when they form plaque, alright, as you can see from this part, alright, this is your blood vessel, and your blood is supposed to flow very freely through the blood vessel to pump to your heart. If your blood vessel is blocked like this, see this block here, in any way your heart will have to beat very hard and very fast just to get your blood across so that you feel good. So what happens if it's blocked? There's too much pressure, it will lead to a heart attack. And heart attack is no joke because without a proper help, when you have a heart attack, you might just die. So let's take a look at effects of heat on fats. So why we say heat is because when you're cooking, you have fire, and fire have heat. So what happens is that the solid fats, like butter, all this will melt to become liquid oil. Okay, and when continue heating, it will turn to brown and then black. It will reach a point where there is called a smoke point, where smoke becomes to appear, and then flash point, where it then catch fire and burn. So let's take a look. In this video, we will not reach flash point because that's really safety issues. So let's take a look.
This has a good bit of water in it. If we use a European butter, it's going to have a lot more fat in it. And the thing about this pan here, we're not going to, an aluminum pan, we're probably not going to get enough heat for it to go to the flash point. You know, butter's got a relatively low flash point to it. You know, the smoke point's right around 300. When you first put that margarine in there and all that sizzle that you got, that wasn't just because it was starting to, the butter's rolling. That's the water actually evaporating off of it. Remember, evaporation happens at 212. Remember, water evaporates and fats melt. Okay, you can see that this is already burned. Okay, it's already to the smoke point. Okay, the flash point, I don't think we're going to get enough heat generated in this aluminum pan for it to come to the flash point. If we had a cast iron pan here and this type of heat, let me explain something to you about this electric heat. Electric heat here, it's either going to be hot or it's going to be if we bring it up to temperature, it's going to be hard for it to go back down. It's slow to come up and slow to go back down. So I always turn another burner on in case I'm trying to cook something too hot. Okay, but you can see that this is at the smoke point. What's going to happen with this fat is that the proteins are going to just start to coagulate. It's just going to start to cook, and it's going to start to just harden in the bottom of that. It's going to look like a glaze.
Okay, we come to the review. So here are the questions. Look through the slides for the answers. You can use your textbooks as help, definitely. So I'll stop here and I'll see you at the next screencast. You can pause the video here now. Thank you and goodbye.